Do you know where we're at now? There is a mass awakening that's happened. The British public, I think, are bordering on ready for revolution in this country with the betrayal of their country. After the riots in Southport, the reason Lucy Connolly was locked up was to put the fear of God into every other law-abiding mother. Yeah, every other mother, every other English woman was meant to be so scared of saying anything on social media or speaking out. Has that worked? No, you've lit a fire in the bellies of every English mum. They're now members of Parliament. Sean Davies, shit's coming home for you, mate. That's the Telford MP on our next documentary. I don't think you're going to be an MP for much longer. Yeah? I didn't anticipate the difficulties I may face after spending 7 months on solitary confinement. And I did feel, and I have faced difficulties, and I didn't feel myself, and I struggled, and I'm still struggling a bit at the same time. No further action. He got no further action. They blew my car up. They went to my mum's house. They threatened to rape my daughters. They phoned me up. I'll show it on the documentary, threatening the school. They threatened my kids' school. The British government's job is to protect the British public, not Afghanistan, not Iraq, not Eritrea, not Syria. We don't care. To be honest, I don't care about those people in those countries. I care about British people. So this journalist, Piers Morgan, who sat at the head of the Daily Mirror newspaper at the height scandal in our country, are we supposed to believe he didn't know? He did not report on it. He doctored pictures of our armed forces for torturing Iraqi prisoners, yeah, proven that he doctored them. A 10-year prison sentence I face for saying to Daily Mail journalists, I'm going to ask you some questions on camera. See if you've still got that energy when I see you. That's what Tony said. Tony, I've had this energy for 15 years. It's not an easy job being me, yeah? Do you not think I've faced bigger threats than Tony fucking Bellew? ISIS want to kill me. Al-Shabaab have named me to be killed. Like I'm going to bend my knee for you because you fucking say you're going to punch my head in when you see me.
In a fiery new interview that is already making waves across social media, British activist Tommy Robinson directly confronted broadcaster Piers Morgan, accusing him of spreading lies and manipulating the public narrative around free speech, immigration, and political dissent. The clash, which unfolded on air with Robinson's trademark bluntness, showcased two very different visions of Britain's cultural and political climate. Morgan, known for his confrontational style and willingness to push back on populist figures, repeatedly pressed Robinson on his history of controversies. But instead of retreating, Robinson went on the offensive. At the heart of the heated exchange was the question of free expression in Britain. Robinson accused mainstream broadcasters, including Morgan's own platforms, of enforcing double standards, muting certain political voices while silencing others. The confrontation illustrated a growing tension in British political discourse, the widening gap between mainstream media institutions and populist movements that thrive outside them. Morgan, who has built a career out of provocative interviews, sought to expose contradictions in Robinson's rhetoric. But the conversation revealed as much about public distrust in media as it did about Robinson's activism. Observers noted the unusual role reversal. Rather than Morgan controlling the narrative, Robinson seized the moment to accuse the media of manipulation. Clips from the interview quickly spread online, with supporters hailing Robinson's performance as a rare moment of accountability for a high-profile journalist. This interview may prove significant beyond its immediate drama. It underscores how figures like Robinson, long dismissed by mainstream commentators, continue to command attention in the digital era. It also highlights the fragile relationship between the press and a public increasingly skeptical of its integrity. For Morgan, the encounter was another chapter in his long career of combative interviews. For Robinson, it was framed as vindication, a chance to confront one of Britain's most visible media personalities and flip the narrative on who really controls the truth. Whether one sees Robinson's claims as justified or incendiary, one thing is clear. The debate over free speech and truth in media is far from over, and both men just poured more fuel on the fire.
We haven't spoke about them. Why are we only talking about this now when it's almost too late?
Yeah, well, first of all, hi, Alex. It's great to see you. Yeah, it really does feel as though the plane's crashed into the mountain already with this, doesn't it? These stats are interesting. But let's just break that ethnic minority category down a little bit, because it's a huge category. It's essentially the rest of the world. We are talking primarily about Chinese and Indian heritage pupils here who are doing very well in London. Interestingly, Black Caribbean pupils and Pakistani heritage pupils are not. So there's quite a lot of kind of granulation here. And of course, London is massive. It's got all the wealth. And when we are comparing this to places like Blackpool, as you've just said, but also the Northeast, Alex, as well, which is, these are the poorest places in the country. What really gets me is that the Labour Party have come out fighting on this, and they've said, oh, parents, you really need to, take your children in hand. You need to take responsibility. Now, these are the same people. This is the same ideology that has been saying that whiteness is poisonous, that they've been decolonizing the curriculum. They've been saying that white men are the source of all evil in the world. It's no wonder that white working class boys don't want to go to school. And yet the Labour Party are coming out and saying, oh, well, come on, parents, take responsibility. This is an abuser lecturing their victims, essentially. Okay. And they are, your question is, why are they talking about this now? Well, I suppose, there are so many other things going on. It's probably easier to talk about this now and move the focus away from very, very pressing things. And it does feel as though, they are saying, oh, we've let them down for years and years. We are trying to do something about it. You are really not.
Yeah. It feels to me that the reform wave has made people like Bridget Phillipson, who's the education secretary, all of a sudden go, oh, maybe I can win some brownie points by talking about white working class kids. Of course, she's got a review coming up soon. Part of this review, right, we're having a curriculum review, which many people don't know about this. And I'm going to blow the lid on this very soon, actually, because there's two people doing the history review of the curriculum. One of them, from what I've been able to find, only doing a lot of digging, is quite a far-left activist. We're talking about BLM activist, anti-British, in my opinion, at least anti-British history. Are we concerned that this is going to have more stigmatism of white people, particularly white working class boys who are already, again, falling behind? We've seen the, why don't you watch Adolescence line being, trumped out by Keir Starmer and his front bench. They're constantly under attack.
Yeah, I mean, I spent 25 years of my career in education. It was higher education, but it was still in education. Okay, I've been teaching for 2.5 decades. There's no surprise here. I mean, let's just go into the classroom in our minds for a second, okay? And let's think who's at the front of the classroom, who's teaching. If it's someone with blue hair, festooned in LGBTQI plus regalia, if the room is full of rainbow flags and progress flags, that is a hostile place for white working class heterosexual children, because all of that ideology, the ideology that they are bringing to this review, the ideology that this review will be framed in that ideology, is hostile to those people, as I say. So it needs to be, there is no quick fix for this. Okay, we need to get different kinds of people into teaching, Alex. Okay, we need to get more men. We need to get more white heterosexual men into teaching. Okay, that's the first thing. We can think about, ex-coppers, ex-service people, older people. They could, they would, teaching them, that would be a great thing. We need to really think about the teacher training colleges as well, because those are, they're just havens of woke poison, and they need to be taken apart, because what you've just described there is just more of the same. It's this long march through the institutions. It's this leftist, hard leftist agenda, critical race theory, hard leftist agenda that's had a stranglehold on education for the last 30 years. And look at the state of it, But it's a broader thing as well. White working class boys, they're going to be, they're the ones who are going to commit suicide, actually, when they grow up. They're the ones who are going to be homeless. They're the ones who are going to be depressed. They're the ones who are going to be lonely. And it's because the whole culture, that anti-whiteness culture, the critical race theory, all that Britain hating, all of that stuff that we talk about a lot, all of that stuff is stacked up against them, and they really do not have a chance. So we need to pull it all apart and start again.